Hey, Winona friends, we are in for a special treat today for Facebook Live. We're at the Winona Public Library. You sent us here in our poll this week, and we are going to take you in a special doorway. Walk with me here. I'm going to try to tell you a little bit about it, but there's so much to know about this library. See what I'm saying? So we have a couple people along the way who are going to tell us a little bit too, because I just can't remember everything. But we did get them, hang on, I'll stop for a second. We did get them to let us come in the original entrance for the library. I'm going to show them what we're walking into right now. Right? So these are real marble columns. I think it's called Georgia marble, if I remember correctly. This library was built in 1899. Cost $50,000, which in today's money is about $1 million, I'm told. It was built by a guy named William Laird. He was a lumber baron, rich. So he created this space for Winona. Winona had a little library. I'm going to talk a little quieter because we're in a library. Winona had a really little library in City Hall, but it had a thirst for knowledge, and so they created this space on the corner of a couple of blocks in downtown Winona, and it was $20,000 more in 2 years before the Carnegie libraries had popped up all over the country that were enormously popular. When we go inside, you're going to see why this one is considered better than any of those, because it's incredibly beautiful. Here's William Laird. Okay, we're going to get somebody to help us, but Emily, give them a look around this room. So we're in the original part of the library. This is Samantha, and she's going to tell us a couple things about this incredible dome and this artwork and how this place got its start.
Hi, okay. So one of my favorite features is the Light of Learning, which is this mural here. It's important to note that it's actually a mural. It's not something that was just painted on over. I said mural. I meant canvas. It's a canvas, not a mural.
That's okay. We just there's no retakes here. We just do it.
So it's a canvas. So it's painted on a canvas and then mounted into the dome. It's called the Light of Learning. The middle represents knowledge, and then on the side we have poetry and romance and art, and so they each represent a different kind of genre or literary category. My favorite part about it is that it was donated in 1910 by William Hayes. William Hayes was married to Charlotte Prentice Hayes. She actually was a member of the Winona Library Association, or the board. She left the board to become a librarian, and she married William Hayes later in life, and she died about 8 years after they got married, and he loved her so much, and he knew how much she loved the library. So he had the artist Kenyon Cox paint this mural, or this canvas. We call it a mural, but it's really a canvas, in her honor. And so it's kind of like my favorite love story about the library, because he was so in love with her and she was so in love with the library that he had this commissioned in honor of her.
That's really cool.
It is.
Thank you. So
yes,
we're just going to go walk around. If that's
go
all
for
right.
it. Have some fun.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So in here there's a statue called Hebe. It's a replica statue of a statue that was built in the 1700s. This is the art room. They have art shows in here from time to time, but they have some things on permanent display also. For example, Hebe is always here. It's a replica, but it's been in this library since 2 years after this library opened. It was donated by Mr. Laird's wife. So in the back area There's another room that's got all DVDs and things like that in it. And the library's changed a lot. When we talked to them a little bit before we started doing Facebook Live today, what we learned is that this place has been, it's been operating continuously as a library since the day it was built. And what makes that really special is that it's the oldest one in Minnesota. There are older libraries in Minnesota, but none that have operated in the same location continuously for as long. So in this room, if you ever come in here, and by the way, you're welcome to just come in and wander around. You don't have to, have a membership or anything. All along the walls in here are the replicas of the original blueprints for this building. It's really beautiful. So we're gonna go look at a couple of other spaces. One of the things I thought was really interesting, Emily, did you show them the lights in the ceiling here? So there's been a couple of additions to the library. The first one happened in 1913 because they had 30,000 books, or they had capacity for 30,000 books, and they had already in 1913 32,000 books. So they were bursting at the seams. So they started adding on spaces. But one of the things I thought was cool is that in this area that we're going into, it used to be off limits. You couldn't go in there. There was a big rail and a counter, and the librarians had to go back here and get books for you. You couldn't go back there and handle them yourself. But now, go crazy. So this is nonfiction. They have 2 floors of nonfiction. These are copper. They're so beautiful. I guess they're nearly impossible to move if they need to do a little rearranging in here, but I didn't ask, we'll ask somebody along the way, how many books are in the library now, but I think we could say a lot. So we're not going to go in there right now, but over there is a pathway that goes to a newer part of the building. So this part is original, and you can read about anything you want here, like why men earn more. No, might be interesting. I don't know. This is a place that you should spend a day, I think. I'm stepping right now, I guess, into an addition that was added in 1913. And it goes up to a 2nd floor of all nonfiction stuff. We'll go up and take a look up there. So it's all like periodicals up here. There's more nonfiction. Oh, there's one little room I wanted to show you. Well, I'll show you when we go back down there. It's kind of like the secret vault of the library, and it's got the coolest stuff in it. So if you look down, apparently the people downstairs can see people walking up here, and you can't really see through it, but kind of. A little bit. So the card catalog system that we had to learn about when I was in school, you have to do the Dewey Decimal System and look for titles and authors and so forth. Doesn't exist anymore. Now it's all on a computer, which would be so much easier, I think. And also, I'm sorry. It also takes up a lot less space. So there's a couple of computers out in the lobby that people can use to search through the library. This room has got, it's locked because you can't touch this stuff because it's really special. Like they have a 1st edition of Moby Dick in here, and other books that are considered to be really precious. But really, let's face it, all books are precious, right? Well, I mean, most books. So, I don't know what you have to do to be able to read one of those books, but it's kind of cool to know they're there, right? By the way, it's super easy to get lost in this library. Like, I don't know where I am right now. No, I'm just kidding. I kind of know a little bit. So we are here. We'll just peek this way. So this is the other original main part of the library. And you can see they've done a really nice job just preserving the architecture in here. It's extremely beautiful. I mean, they've modernized it to make it a lot easier to use. However, it still feels like you're in an 1899 building. Oh, I forgot, there's one thing, we're gonna ask Samantha a question. I guess that entrance that we came in is locked all the time, except there's one occasion where they're gonna unlock it. I think it's tomorrow night, and it's for a special fundraiser that the library had. I'm walking back. So if you come to the fundraiser, you get to come in through that special entrance. Tell us about that fundraiser tomorrow night.
Yeah. So tomorrow night we have a fundraiser for the Friends of the Library. It's with Winona State University's runner-up improv. So there is a local improv group in Winona, which is really cool, and they'll be here tomorrow night from 8 to 10. Tickets are $10 for a seated admission and $5 for a standing admission. And my favorite part, of course, is that you can use the front entrance. So for those of you that weren't able to use the entrance before 1988, you can use it that night.
I'm eating a Halloween candy. Okay, so we're gonna go. We're gonna go look in the newer lobby. So they had to close that entrance off for handicap access issues. But they did build a new lobby that then is accessible for everyone. And it also goes to some cool spaces that they were able to add on to when they created that addition.
Excuse me.
Okay, but first, this is fiction. It's only one floor of fiction. But I browsed it for a second when we walked through. There's some cool stuff in here, good titles. I asked who reads all the books. I don't mean like who reads the books, but I mean like before they get on the shelf, who reads the books. They read every book, so if you ever want to know anything about anything ever, you should probably ask the people in this library because they've read a lot. Okay, this is the new entrance as of the late 1980s anyway. You can see. It goes straight to the street level. Oh, this desk is not original, but it was made to look as if it fit the style of the building, so it's really nice. And the other thing they have is a children's area. Okay, so this space is just for kids. We're gonna talk to them because they told me how many books are in here, and I don't remember, but it was earlier than children's spaces were in libraries anywhere else, and it had more books. Okay,
Cool.
Hi, talk to us
Hi,
about this
everybody.
children's space.
Yeah, it's really quiet right now. All of our troops just went out. So I think we actually might be alone in here right now, so this is kind of special. Yeah, so we've got a whole room of picture books, and there's some dress-up clothes and toys back there that are super popular with our littles. And then out here we have a whole bunch of nonfiction books down the middle, and our young adults and our fiction titles that wrap around the whole room. Our decorations right now are Harry Potter. We just had our huge Harry Potter party. So that's what these pictures of animals are. Those are Harry Potter. And we have programming almost every day during the week, so we're usually pretty busy. We have a downtime around lunchtime. So it's super busy in the morning and then super busy in the afternoon. So right now we're just trying to straighten everything up.
Do you know how many books are in the library altogether?
Oh, goodness. I want to
You
say
can make it up.
it's a lie.
We're not gonna
I
disagree
looked
with
it up
you.
once because a little boy asked me how many books we had, and I was like, well, I got to get you an answer. I'm a librarian.
Right.
So I did ask, and I know that down here we have upwards of like 35,000 materials That includes DVDs and audiobooks. Down here, just in the children's department, I think in the entire building, I want to say it's upwards of like 250 to 270,000. It's kind of in that range-ish, but that includes all materials. So that would be books and audio materials as well. Yeah.
Wow, thank you. So we get to look kind of backstage for a second, but show me how to get there. I forgot.
Sure. So we go through this way. And you'll have to forgive the clutter. There's always a little bit of clutter in the youth services department, but it's all because fun is happening, so it's okay. So this is our story time room. In our program room back here, we do a lot of teen programming as well as school age and preschool programming back here. So we have that in the same space.
Fun, and these are free for kids, right?
Everything we do is free. Yep. We never charge for programs. And we do also, an interesting piece about the youth services department is that there are no late fines on children's materials.
Oh.
So if you check out picture books, if you check out any of the children's DVDs, anything like that, there's no late fees if you bring it back, a few days late. You don't have to worry about paying a fee on your account, so it makes it a little less stressful for families when they're checking out 50 books for their kids.
Right.
Yeah, so that's an interesting thing to know as well.
Yeah.
And then back here, you can walk through where the magic happens.
Yeah, so that's I guess this is like the brain of the library. This is where books come in and go through this process that we never think about. And Teresa's going to tell us a little bit about it.
Okay.
Well, so somebody reads a book and says we should have that book in the library. Then what happens?
Okay. Well, that is determined to be added to the collection by the reference librarian and the youth services librarian. So they'll place an order, and after they do that, they inform me that it's been placed, and we'll put a record in the system so people can start requesting right away, even before it's here at the library. And then once it arrives, I'll take care of receiving it in, and then I'm part of a team of people who get it out to the public. So we have a cataloger who will get the record officially in the system, and we have people who take care of processing. So these are some of the new ones. Yep. And let's see, these are our large print ones. So they're waiting. There's always a step, a process of who's doing what when. So.
Cancun and the Riviera Maya, Oahu, and Kauai. I'm going to read those books. Maybe we'll have a Facebook Live from there talking about Winona laying on the beach in Oahu. How about that? Okay, so we're going to go back out that way. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, who knew, right? And besides, I see another candy bowl in there and I can't walk past it because I know I'm going to grab more of the candy. So, for people who are visiting Winona, public library is just as good as it is for people who live in Winona. And the reason is that sometimes, especially if you're here for a week, you want something to do besides being out running around. I mean, Winona is such a great place to relax. Like, if you were going to paddle or something and spend the day on a sandbar, wouldn't it be great to take a book with you? And if you didn't bring one, you can just come here and borrow one. I mean, public libraries are amazing, right? So that's it. That's a look at the inner workings of the Winona Public Library. Thank you for sending us here. I haven't been in a lot of the parts of this library in a long time, but I want to come back and hang out now. And next week we're going to go somewhere else for a Facebook Live, wherever you send us. So in the comments for this, you need to tell us where should we go next week. We will go take a live look anywhere you send us. I think I mean anywhere, unless it's, I don't want to say unless it's, because last time I said unless it's like Sugarloaf, and then you sent us to Sugarloaf, and then we had to climb it. So use your imaginations, because really Winona is full of really cool places, amazing stories in Winona, beautiful things that there are to come and walk around. We are going to do whatever you tell us to do, so please vote. And thank you everybody for your comments and for sharing these Facebook Live videos. We kind of like sharing the love about Winona and telling you why we love it so much, and I think maybe why you love it too, since you all are voting for these places and sending us to them. Thank you so much. Happy November. Have a great week.